What does it actually take to succeed in 2026? Not in theory, but in real life. I've talked to founders and CEOs of billion-dollar companies, and believe me, a lot of them have started very recently. Their advice: a few simple things that will help you build the career you dream of, even if you're starting from zero. In this video, insights from 7 leaders with decades of experience. By the end of this video, you'll know the one strategy that separates successful people from everyone else, how to use AI so you don't fall behind, why you have exactly 2 years for a certain thing because how our world is changing, and what to do today, right now. Let's go. I want to start with something urgent, something that's been on my mind constantly lately. You have 2 years, maybe 3, to build a personal brand before it becomes nearly impossible. That's why I made my husband start posting on LinkedIn last year, and he's seen some really good growth. And I made him start posting right after I talked to Priestley, a serial entrepreneur who built multiple million-dollar companies. We sat down with him for a podcast, and he told me we only had 2 years to build a personal brand. And knowing this has completely changed how I think about what I am doing and what to prioritize right now.
Personal brand is going to matter even more, a lot more, because personal brands get 20 times the cut through as business brands when you're trying to get attention, but it's going to be nearly impossible to build a personal brand. So what's going to happen is creators like yourself, you're going to get your hands on these AI tools that allow you to be 5 times, 10 times more prolific. You're going to have 10 times more content out there. You're going to take this podcast and it's going to be
so many pieces
within exactly within 30 minutes. AI will have sliced it and diced it and mixed it and remixed it and edited it.
Yep.
And it'll all just happen. And then you will be everywhere on all platforms all at once. And because you've put the groundwork in to kind of like do that, it'll be so hard for someone to compete with you because you already have algorithmic acceptance. There are already people out there who will watch your stuff because it's you and they trust you and all of that sort of stuff. Imagine a scenario where there's an airport and there are planes that are on the ground and there are planes that are already up in the air and the fog comes rolling in and the air traffic control says, if you're already on the ground, it's too foggy, you can't take off. But if you're up in the air, you can keep flying. That's what's going to happen to personal brands. So new personal brands are going to be harder and harder to get through the fog. Existing personal brands will be already up in the air. Now, most new businesses are going to want to leverage a personal brand. So someone like you, every month you're going to get 3, 4, 5 inquiries where someone says, I'll give you 15% of my company if you'll just represent this in the market. If we can say that you're on the board, if you can make some ads for us, if you can be involved, we'll give you a big chunk of equity just to lend the personal brand because it's too hard for us to build it ourselves. I think there's probably 2 to 3 years where you've still got time to build a personal brand. I think one of the greatest assets anyone can build right now is a dedicated following of 2 to 20,000 people who know who you are. They get you. It doesn't have to be millions, but if there's 2 to 20,000 people out there on your LinkedIn, on your Instagram, on your YouTube channel, whatever it is, they feel like they've met you or know you, they've got a parasocial relationship to you. If you've got 2 to 20,000 people out there who have that parasocial relationship with you, that is going to be one heck of an asset to have.
I feel this urgency. I've been posting consistently on LinkedIn, but I don't want you to do this from the place of fear, from FOMO. Here, I really connect with Reid Hoffman's approach. He created LinkedIn, invested in PayPal, watched multiple tech revolutions up close, and now he's investing in AI companies. He told me the one mindset shift you need this year.
I always recommend hope versus fear, and curiosity and optimism versus, paranoia. But it doesn't mean that it isn't painful to do the transition. What we should be doing is figuring out how do we add our own creativity. I mean, you're one of the creators and everything else. How do we add our own creativity and amplify ourselves with the tools? Generally speaking, AI, I don't suggest waiting because part of what you want to be doing, just like any new technological revolution, whether when YouTube was happening, when the internet's happening. The folks who go and adopt and play with it early then have a differential edge in the change that it means in the industry and their society. And so even though 3 years from now the coding tools will be and agents will be much better than they are now, the people who started playing with them now will probably be the people who know how to use them and deploy them much more comfortably early.
And that phrase, don't wait, is critical. Because while you're waiting for the perfect moment, someone else is already learning, failing, and iterating. So let's get specific. Meet Amjad Masad, founder and CEO of Replit. It's an AI-powered coding platform valued at $3 billion. But here's what most people don't know. Amjad has been building this for 10 years. When I asked him the most underrated strategy in business, his answer was so simple it felt too obvious, but it explains everything.
And the other thing is, like I said, grit. Like just not quitting after 6 hours is very differentiating. Actually, most people just quit. And so just keep going and not quit. Like, I've been building this business for 10 years. Before that, back in Jordan, I had this idea when I was 22, and I started working on it. Actually, there was an open source project called Replit back in 2010. And I just didn't quit. I knew it was going to be big. I still know it's going to be $1 trillion company at some point in the future. Right now, we're like a $3 billion company, which is still huge.
It's amazing. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. But it's just not quitting. I think a big part of it, I mean, people talk about it all the time. Just show up every day.
Yeah.
Just showing up is a big differentiator. Most people don't. Things are hard, and life is full of easy things like, you can spend 4 hours on TikTok, be endlessly entertained,
yes.
Right? So that's one. On marketing, there are a few things I could say here. One is launch. Just keep launching. Go
New
launch
products,
on Reddit.
Iterate. Or
even the same product. Like make another
tweak.
Another tweak. Show it in a different way. Iterate on your messaging. Do another video. Try to reach out to influencers to partner with them.
I've seen you go on a lot of podcasts. Yeah.
Replit, I launched it 3 or 4 different times with different messaging and different things.
Interesting. So the first 3 times didn't work?
The first few times it didn't work. I think when we got on Hacker News the first time, it was when I said, you can try all these different languages, and I listed the languages. Try Python, Ruby. That was before AI. And that was a hit because of the title change. And so again, it's grit, relentless, resourcefulness, and just iteration.
When Amjad talks about being relentless, there's someone else who literally embodies that word. Aravind Srinivas, founder of Perplexity, the AI search engine that's exploded in the past couple of years, he told me something about relentlessness that has math behind it. The simple formula that explains how small daily improvements can turn a $100 million idea into a $20 billion company.
I love the word relentless. In fact, I wanted to buy the domain relentless.com, except I figured it was owned by Jeff Bezos.
Oh, really?
So if you actually type relentless.com on your browser, it will redirect to Amazon.com. He's an investor in our company. That's like the spirit of the company. We don't ever give up. We are very curious. We constantly keep asking questions on how to improve the product. The first thing I do when I wake up is read everything all the users saying on different social platforms. I make sure most of the bugs are immediately attended to. And you may think like, oh, what really comes out of this process of waking up every day and just bug fixing and triaging and like trying to identify places for improvement. But we really believe in the mantra of like 1.01 to the power 365 is 37.78.
Can you explain?
Okay, so if you do a 1% improvement every day, how much do you improve at the end of the year? You improve 3,700%. You don't improve like 1% multiplied by 365.
Yeah.
That's the concept of the exponential.
Yeah.
It compounds.
And you know where this 1% daily improvement scales 10x faster? The United States. Here's what most people don't realize. Your code, your designs, your product launches, they're not just work. They are legal currency. If you're building an AI, if you're a founder, a tech lead, the US is actively seeking your talent. But a lot of people try to build their careers on temporary visas that expire, that limit growth, that add stress, the paperwork, the uncertainty, the constant renewals. There's a better plan. The O1 visa gives you unlimited extensions, and this is the visa I used. And that was the green card that I got, EB1. And after that, I got my passport 4 years, 9 months later. And most tech professionals already qualify, but don't even know it. Same story with me. I didn't realize I could qualify for O1 because I thought it was for Nobel Prize laureates. Now, you might be thinking, what about the visa restrictions in the news? Talent Talent-based visa O1 works differently. These bans do not apply. This is your safe, legal path, a path that has been taken by me and a lot of my friends. Your code contributions, funding rounds, open source work, patents, industry recognition. These aren't just resume lines. They're exactly what O1 and EB1 measure. You have the proof. You just need someone who speaks both STEM and immigration law to translate it. That's where Shemaev Business Law comes in. 10 plus years in the market, 3,400 plus approvals, 90% plus success rate across 30 monthly filings. They know what an LLM is. They understand Series A funding. They reverse engineer your technical career into a winning legal case and handle the entire architecture so you can focus on building. Check out the link in the description for a free case evaluation in 2 working days. Let's see if your tech stack qualifies. Don't let your hard work stay local. Launch yourself globally. All right, so you're not quitting. You're improving 1% every day. You have the tools to move faster. But here's the reality. Careers are built in real companies with real constraints, legacy systems, slow decision-making, people who don't get it yet. So ask Mary Barra, the CEO of General Motors, how someone starting their career right now can actually use AI to stand out, even inside a huge traditional organization that wasn't built for the speed of change.
I always encourage people, whatever industry you're excited about, make sure you're in the core of it. You're in how we design vehicles, all the software, how we make vehicles, how we go to market. I would, in an industry you're excited about, go in and join a company and really immerse yourself in where they are today. You know, so many people who are graduating from college or, you know, coming in with certificates they have so much knowledge already from the way technology they you know, leveraged it to go through their schooling at whatever level they are. You bring all that and you can immediately see, hey, here's how I can make it better. I was talking a couple years ago of an employee who joined the company, and it was in our finance area, and he had got a job, and he said, yeah, I was able to use these tools I used from college and able to take what was usually going to take 3 days, and I could do it in 3 hours. I mean, I think what somebody who's starting their career, they have to realize, you know, they really have a lot of knowledge in the way they learn to do work that they can bring into the workplace. And that's what we're trying to do right now across many functions of, for instance, in human resources. How do we take some of the things that a human resource professional needs to do, that is, you know, getting the data in the right place and getting that information, getting that done more effectively with AI, so that person can have more of a high touch with the people that are in the area that he or she is supporting. Those are things I think we can do. That human connection is going to become more important, and the quality of it, because the person isn't spending all the time doing some of the more routine things, that they can really understand that person better, understand the process better, work for higher quality. I think it's really going to advance.
But if you keep pushing, one thing is guaranteed. Some things will fail. Andrei Kusid from Mirror told me the exact percentage of projects that should fail if you're really innovating.
You leave at least 30% for failure rate. And it's across not just kind of product experiments or like growth experiments. It's also about even acquisitions. Like if you are acquiring companies and 100% of your acquisitions are good, it means that maybe you're not pushing the boundaries enough. Or if a lot of that just fail, it's also not right. So this is super important to kind of have the portfolio and to have some bets that are safer and makes more sense in terms of, hey, this is how we can quite predict what the outcome would be in the experiment or acquisition or anything you do. But some bets should be moonshots, and those bets should fail. Some of them should fail.
Now, here's what happens when you experiment, push boundaries, build something bold. Remember what Amjad said about grit and not quitting? That sounds inspiring until someone you deeply respect looks you in the eyes and basically tells you you're wrong, especially when that person is Peter Thiel, one of the most legendary investors in Silicon Valley.
Peter Thiel invested in our Series B round in 2021. But then I went to pitch him in 2022 or 23, just before ChatGPT. I was trying to tell him, hey, AI is very important. It's going to change the nature of coding and programming. And he said, Peter Thiel is very skeptical of buzzwords. And he's known to be a contrarian. So he doesn't like anything that's popular. And so he was like, when you're saying AI, it's meaningless. It's almost like saying computers, don't come here with these buzzwords. And he basically said I was just engaging in hype. We had raised at a big valuation. I'm trying to justify that valuation. And the entire meeting, I'm trying to tell him, hey, just like look at the demo. And he wouldn't look at the demo. And then I remember 4 months later, I saw him on TV talking about ChatGPT and saying, oh, it's actually a fundamental innovation. I was like, I tried to tell you. To his credit, he changed his opinion, and Founders Fund invested a big amount in Cognition, which is another agent coding company. But I did send him an email saying, after they invested in Cognition, and told him, well, I have a lot of respect for you. And that conversation was actually very hard to take in because I felt like I was doing something wrong. But I hope you can see that at the moment I saw the future where things were headed.
And I'm glad you pushed further and built whatever you built,
Yeah.
right? Because it's so demotivating to hear things like that from people who are super respected and super smart.
Exactly. It's both demotivating, but can be motivating. It's about how you frame it, right? I've become one where I'm actually more motivated to prove doubters wrong.
All of this can feel huge. Personal brand, AI, experiments. So where do you actually start? When I asked Daniel how to begin if you're not a billionaire founder, he gave me a surprisingly simple rule, which I absolutely love. Think in 90-day projects.
Deliberately do some side hustles that are open and shut within 90 days. So open and shut side hustles might be, I'm going to promote a workshop and it's going to be $300 and there's going to be 30 people there and I'm going to organize it and deliver it and everything's going to go open and shut in 90 days and we're going to have,
love that.
yeah. And it's like,
There's no pressure of continuity. Like, I have to do this for you.
exactly. It's just
Love
a complete
Mhm.
start finish thing. You might say, all right, I'm going to be a AI consultant to some small businesses and I'm going to do that for 90 days and see whether I can do that.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be a business. It's just something it's a project for 90 days. I'm just testing it out to see how that works. Or I might, see if I can sell 100 items of clothing in the next 90 days. But at the commitment is it finishes at 90 days. So you're able to start, have a go, finish all in 90 days. If you make $1,000, if you make $2,000, fantastic. But it's about the learning of going through a value creation cycle.
Yeah. And this mental thing, when you start a business, you're like, oh, it's my baby. It's going to define me for the next 10 years.
Well, this is like the one night stands.
Yeah. But when doing the 90
Yeah.
days, you're like, it takes this
This is
pressure off your
this is
shoulders.
entrepreneur dating.
Quick pause. If you're enjoying this episode, you'll absolutely love my Inner Circle newsletter. It is where I share behind the scenes of everything that I do. We'll post this video, but we also make 30 other pieces of content out of it. I use AI tools to optimize my investment portfolio. I share my wealth building strategies for 2025 and just balancing it all really as an immigrant, as an entrepreneur, as a mom. So if you want to start using AI and tech to live a better life, subscribe to my Inner Circle newsletter to learn from what works for me. But before you go all in, there is one more piece almost no one talks about. You can build a company, the brand, the money, and still lose the very thing you're going for. Oscar Höglund from Epidemic Sound came dangerously close to that line.
The hardest moment in my entrepreneurial journey was when I couldn't reconcile family life with business life. Our kids were young at the time. I'd been out traveling nonstop the entire year. It was probably my 6th or 7th trip to the US in that same year. And when I came back, my wife and I sat down and my wife said something to the tune of, this doesn't work anymore because our life now is better when you're not here. And that was without compromise or without any comparison, the darkest moment in my entire life. The day after, I called my co-founder and said, I'm going to quit. I get all stoked up when I talk about it. And we made some incredible changes. Like we rethought the business, I rethought my role. We made a ton of big changes. And I was super close to quitting because I've always been family first. And as I said, I work to live. I don't live to work. I didn't do anything before 9. And then between 9 and 6, I would go at it work-wise like a crazy person. But then 6, I have a function in my phone, stops working, shuts down. And between 6 and 9, I'm unreachable. I never do meetings. I never do exceptions. So Monday to Friday, that was the case. Go home with the family, have dinner, put the kids to bed, read a bedtime story. My wife is up in the morning. She's a superwoman. And then she falls to sleep around 9. That's when my phone starts working again. And that's when I did my second run. So I would work from 9 to 1 in the night when the US got up or was Asia.
Wow.
And so I did a night run. And then I'd go to bed. But then I would never work weekends, ever.
And I'm going to be honest, I struggle with this too. I have 2 young daughters, and my strength comes from my family. When I'm with them, fully present, that's when I recharge. Success without them isn't really success, it's just empty. So yes, be relentless, push boundaries, but build the guardrails that protect what you're building for. You can do this, but you have to start today. Build your personal brand now. You have 2 years before the window closes. Start posting consistently. Decide not to quit. A lot of people quit after 6 hours. You won't. Do 1% improvement every day. That's 3,700% in a year. Adopt AI now. Use it to build your brand faster, work smarter. Companies that wait will be far behind. The same goes for you. Plan for failures. 30% of your projects should fail. If everything succeeds, you're just not playing bold enough. You're not experimenting. And use doubters as fuel. Every no is energy. Launch a 90-day project. Small. Open it, close it, learn from it. And of course, protect your family. Without them, none of this really matters. This is your shot. Like, subscribe, help the video reach everyone who needs it. Write in the comments which piece of advice hit you the hardest. My team and I read every single comment. Let's make this year legendary.